In the book of Daniel chapter 6, there is a story of a man who had favor among all men, even the king himself. We see Daniel, an Israelite in a foreign country called Babylon, where the culture and traditions are quite different from where he, being an Israelite, was expected to do. Despite being an alien in that country, Daniel did not flee from the commandments of God. He still did the things which were right in the eyes of the Lord, the result of which was that he was favored by the majority of the people in Babylon, even the king Darius. One day, a scheme was formed out of jealousy by the ones who were under Daniel to put him in a bad light. They tried to gather evidences against Daniel to then report to the king and do harm to his name. But unfortunately, they gathered none. After some time, though, they discovered that Daniel was praying to God in his chambers regularly. Due to political reasons, the scheme turned into a plea with the king that he should sign a decree that no one should pray to any other gods except to the king himself, and that those who will not comply would be thrown into the lion's den. To cut the story short, the king signed the decree, not knowing it would endanger Daniel. And so, Daniel was found guilty and was thrown to the lion's den. The king tried to save Daniel, for he knew that Daniel was a good man, but he failed. At dawn, the king hurriedly went to the lion's den and called on Daniel if he was still alive. Surprisingly, Daniel answered, and King Darius felt relieved and overjoyed, for he was saved from the lions. He then knew that the God whom Daniel was serving is the one true living God. We often find ourselves in the same situation as Daniel, being in a crossroad of decision of which to follow or prioritize. In the story, we see that Daniel stood for his faith. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. He didn't hesitate to serve God, even though it meant sacrificing his own life. In the beginning of the story, we see him living in accordance to God's commands, and he is reaping the blessings of it. On its latter half, even though the blessings were taken away, he still determined to serve God against all odds. Whether we be at the top of the world or in its lowest trough, let us still be found faithful in serving God.